Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market. You can pick from multiple platforms, football or baseball or even basketball. Sign up using the code ASU and Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer up to $100. Download the app for free at the Google Play Store or the App Store. Well, we are 2 games in, and I'm already beginning to sound like a broken record. The Atlanta Falcons lost to the Los Angeles Rams 31-27. The Falcons were down that entire game, and once were even down 28-3 before mounting a comeback just to fall short in the end. Me and Terrence, we were texting back and forth throughout this game.
Right.
What,
Before we even go into the game, how was your trip to LA? That's what I want to know.
So I had a great time in LA. The city treated me and my fellow fans well. You know, we saw a lot. We went from the canyon to the Pacific coast. I even went in the ocean. I had to go in over my head. So yeah, I got in and had a good time. The food was good. Like I said, the people were good. I didn't really have any bad experiences other than that game on Sunday.
Right. How was the crowd? From listening to it on the TV, it sounded like a Super Bowl crowd for real. It was loud, dude.
So yeah, it was definitely loud, and I want to give a shout out to the Falcon fans that showed up because there were a lot of Falcon fans that did show up, and they were making noise when the Falcons gave them opportunity to make noise.
Right.
But yes, overall the crowd was spectacular. It was a very exciting. Their stadium is nice. I do want to say Arthur Blank. Their lower level section does all feel like a VIP. Not whereas in the bins, somebody from Upper Deck can come down to the lower level with an Upper Deck ticket. They didn't allow that in LA. They were checking your ticket 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, they were. But it was a real nice stadium. You know, it's completely open air. It's just covered, but air is constantly coming through, and real nice stadium.
Nice. Now let's get back to the game. Here was right away we just thought it was going to be a blowout. Again, we've seen a tale of two halves.
Yeah.
The first half looks like the second half of the Saints game. The second half of this game looked like the first half of the Saints game. So we've played 8 quarters of football, but 4 of them has been very, very good. So at some point, we got to see it come all together. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about this game here. Here's the thing. When we talk about football, we talk about 3 aspects of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. In that fourth quarter, if the only offense the Falcons really put up was from the special teams and the defense, got the block for the touchdown, the turnover to get them the ball back whatsoever. And then, the Falcons capitalized on that. But before that happened, there was nothing. It was just absolutely nothing. And you have a quarterback that still plays well most of the game and then do some things that's uncharacteristic of a veteran quarterback, which when we say a veteran quarterback, he's been in the league a long time, but he hasn't had those snaps, 6 or 7 years worth of snaps, if I have to say so. So he's still a little raw and a little young, a little, right now. Everybody says he has to play better. Yeah, I agree. He has to play better. Defense has to play better at some point. We talk about all off season, everything you read. They were talking about AJ Terrell, the disrespect that he was getting, the numbers from last year, this and that. And I always say, you can't go by the year before, because this game and in this sport, coaches are so good that they know how to dissect and to figure out how to beat you the next time around. And that's the case what's happening with Kyle Pitts. He's not as free as he was last year, running around whatsoever, this and that. So right now on Terrell's Island, there's a high current right now. It'll get better. He'll learn from this. He's a smart guy. He's a good guy. He's a competitive guy. He doesn't back down. So he'll learn from this and he'll get better. Uh, on the quarterback side of it, here's I'm gonna be as positive as I can be, but constructive as I can be. You have a quarterback who has some reps, has potential, great athlete to be very, very good. But in your meeting room, you have a rookie quarterback behind you, and you have a coach who has never played the position and is only in his second year coaching the position. He's a former running back coach from the Bears and from the Titans. He's even in college, he coached running backs.
Mhm.
So you're asking a running back coach to coach the franchise position in the NFL. So when you go in those meetings, even after the game, what do you say about your quarterback of his play and how he gets better? This is what you're hearing it from the head coach and the offensive coordinator to tell you what to relay to your quarterback that you're coaching because you don't have the I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but you don't have the quarterback aptitude to have that type of conversation with your quarterback.
Mhm.
Now, how do you tell your quarterback to prepare for situations in games when you have never done it yourself or been in those situations in games? So there's a communication problem right there and a disconnect there, and probably a little bit of trust issues right there at that position and that coach. And what really scratches my head is this: your wide receiver coach is a former NFL quarterback.
Mhm.
Why is he not coaching the quarterbacks? And it just scratches my head. So right now, when we talked about for weeks, and y'all probably says, "We, Terrence, you say this all the time. We getting tired of hearing this championship pedigree." Now, I'm gonna take. Let's not talk about championship pedigree. Get the coaches coaching the positions they know
Yeah.
and they played before that they can communicate properly and prepare the players properly at that position to go out and play with. That's what I have to say. Now, I'm gonna keep going, William. I'm gonna just keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Here's another thing. When you're asked why is your Pro Bowl tight end that we drafted number 4 overall is not getting more targets, and your response is this is not fantasy football.
Mm.
We're trying to win football games.
Ridiculous.
When my people call me or I see that after that has been said about me, I'm having an issue right now.
Yeah.
You don't care about me and my success? You trying to tell me I can't help this football team win? Hmm. That's when guys get disgruntled, and that's when you hear when off season happens, I want to be traded. I don't want to be here anymore. It's because you treat me less than what I am, which is a football player and a man with feelings. So you don't care about me. So here's the thing. So if you're trying to win football games, why are you not trying to get one of your best players involved in your offensive scheme to
Mhm.
help you win football games? So you're probably so if you really dissect that, are you saying that he can't help you win football games if you target him more? Now, here's here's my here's my response to those that says, well, he's getting double teamed and he's the coverages whatsoever. So you telling me Diggs at Buffalo is not getting attention? You telling me Cooper Cup is
Cup,
not getting attention? You telling me Waddle and Hill are not getting attention, but they're still catching 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 balls a game? You telling me, so what are you telling me? We're those coaches are better in scheming their offense around their superstar players than we are?
yeah.
That's what is that what you're telling me? So I don't believe so. You had 2 games. 2 games. It's only been 2 games. You got 15 to go. Out of these 2 games, your evaluation should be so sharp and so intense that your game plan is going to be nearly perfect going into Seattle which is a tough task as it is because those fans are going to be rocking.
Yeah.
And Geno Smith is not a backup quarterback anymore. So you got to be intentful to get the best players the ball. Now, Drake London is so far after 2 weeks, he's he's better than what I expected he would be at this point of the season. Now, he can continue to grow and get better and stay steady whatsoever. Now he just got to keep getting better. Let's get some more touchdowns. Let's get some more wild plays. Let's get some more 20 plus yard plays. Those things, this and that. And the key for him is when week 12 comes, like all rookies do, because they only play 12 games in 4 years in college,
Yeah.
that he doesn't hit the wall. But that's coaching again. How many guys have you coached that are rookies that have hit the wall that you helped them get through? There it is again. Um, or or you can reach back when you played, and what have you done when you hit that wall in week 12, week 13? So there's a lot of to dissect here, and I'm not being negative here because it can get better. And the thing is that the only way it gets better is you got to self-evaluate yourself, from the coaches to the players whatsoever. You got to evaluate yourself. And the thing is, you can't here's the thing that as a professional you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go into this week saying, I'm not going to let what happened to me last week happen this week. Why are you talking about it? It's over and done with. Let's move on. Let's move on. Get excited about the next game. Don't even in practice, coaches, players, even a situation that comes up, you don't say these words. The same thing happened in week 1. The same thing happened in week 2. You can't. That's just beating a dead horse. That's just beat. Why? Why would you do that? Let it go. Hey, when it happens, you just coach it right there. You stop everything and coach it right there and say, hey, look, this is how we're going to handle this situation. Not, we should have handled this situation like this last time. This is how we're going to handle this situation. Now the players feel that, okay, it's okay to go on. It's okay, to make mistakes. But if we're making it uh, in a fashion that we're trying to be better, that we're trying to be great, it's okay. But if you're making mistakes because you're scared that what your coach may say to you, or you may get pulled out of the game, you're not playing at a high level. Because and you've heard me say this before, when a player makes a mistake and he gets pulled out of the game and he gets ripped for making a mistake, and the nation is seeing it, his fans are seeing it, his kids are seeing it whatsoever. But who rips the coach when he calls a bad play? Who rips the coach when time management is messed up, or just bad decisions have been made? So the thing is that we all make mistakes, and you got to know that you're going to make a mistake for you to clear those mistakes and make less of them. So, man, I've said a whole lot. I've been holding on to this for days. I've said a whole lot, but I said a whole lot to say this. You win this game in Seattle in front of this crowd against this football team, which is a good offensive football team with some weapons. You're going to feel good about yourself going into week 4. Because remember what I said, you 500 or better after the first month of the season, you have a chance.
Yeah.
We can't be 1-3 or 0-4. We got to be at least 2-2 after these first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a tough one, and they've got to right the ship, so to speak. I want to rewind just a second and was talking about the coaches that
Right.
you were speaking about with Charles London, quarterbacks coach, and then TJ Yates as a receiver coach, as we all know, played quarterback. So yeah,
Right.
we talked about those things
Yes.
long before training camp.
Long before training camp.
We talked about those could be issues and why are
Yes.
they in those positions,
Yes.
especially when you have a former Atlanta receiver sitting across from me. I'm not going to go there, but yeah, I went there,
You went there. You should have went there.
And then, so going to what Arthur Smith was saying about Kyle Pitts, yes, I play fantasy football like hundreds of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But journalists are asking you the questions, they're not asking you for fantasy football numbers. They're asking you because the Falcons are not producing. They're asking you because this was the 4th overall pick the year before.
Right.
He's not, yes, he's going to block, but he doesn't need to be setting blocks while Kadero Hodge is running free to get passes.
Right.
Kyle Pitts is one of the focal points of this offense. It has to be, or this team ain't going to go forward. You put so much value in this man.
Yeah, I agree.
When the Falcons are trying to come back late in this game, they were doing some good things with Drake London on the screens.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Once they got in the red zone, they got away from that, and you never seen a Kyle Pitts play.
No.
Like you said before, just like with the other players, the Cups, the Diggs, you're going to have to scheme for Kyle Pitts.
Right.
You got to make him a package. You have to have a set of plays
for
that
him.
we can go to, and like Kyle Pitts, we're going to Kyle Pitts.
Right. Exactly.
But unfortunately, our head coach gets in his feelings and is too busy trying to prove himself to the media when he should be trying to prove himself to the league.
Well, he needs to prove himself to his players. That's his obligation, is to prove himself to his players. Instead of having this battle with the media, it should be about your players and not about you at all. Get yourself out of the situation and put your players out front and let them go out there and perform. At the end of the day, players play, coaches coach. And the thing is that you got to devise a game plan. And like you said, there has to be packages for Kyle Pitts, London, Patterson, those type of guys. There have to be. When your second tight end has more targets than your all pro tight end, there's an issue there.
Definitely.
There's a big issue there. So the thing is, and I'm not saying force him the football. I'm not saying that. Don't come out and the first 10 balls is going to Kyle Pitts. But here's what I'm saying. I played under the coach before, and I ran into him years ago. We coached the East-West Shrine game together, and we sat down there, and he was talking to the players, and he was introducing every coach. So he got to me, and it was very humbling to me what he said, because he said about me, he says, now, you want to know a guy who worked his tail off to be good? He said, that's Terrence Mathis. And then people ask me, why was he that good? He said, it wasn't anything that he did. It wasn't anything that I did. It was something that Terrence did. He made himself available, and as he was going, it wasn't hard. It just get him the ball until you stop him. Get him the ball until you stop him. You don't throw a guy a ball once or twice and says, well, maybe they're gonna stop him this time. If he's hot, that's like the old NBA jams. He's on fire. Keep giving him the ball. That's what all great offensive minds do. Get the best players that is hot at the time, the football. Your job is to stop him. I'm not going to stop him.
Yeah, exactly.
Got other dudes on the other side in the backfield that once you stop him, okay, now that you paid attention to him, I'm going to let him do the work. That has to be your mindset. You want to be this, you want to, I'm going to spread the wealth and make everybody happy. Okay. Everybody's not, I guarantee you everybody's not happy right now.
I guarantee it either.
I guarantee you everybody's not happy right now. But if you say this team is selfless, unselfish, they wouldn't mind if Pitts is getting more targets. They wouldn't mind, because I know the more you target him, the better he's going to get during the game and the more plays he's going to make for you. So, because at the end of the day, even with myself, if Andre Rison is getting more targets to me on that game, I know one game I'm going to get more targets than him. It's just the way it plays out. This is the way it plays out. If Tony Martin is getting targeted more this week, I'm okay with that. I'm doing my job to make sure he gets open, and when he catches the ball, make sure I'm getting over there to get blocks, because I know he's going to do the same for me when it's my time. So that's being unselfish as a player. And I know these guys are unselfish as players, and they're going to do whatever it takes to win football games. And the thing is that sometimes coaches just got to get out the way.
Yeah.
Let these guys play. Don't outthink your opponent, which makes it a detriment to yourself. You sit there trying to outthink and outguess when the game is easy. Get it to your best players and let your best players do the job.
There was an interview that Kyle Pitts and AJ Terrell just did with Pivot, which is Ryan Clark and them's
Yeah.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it was taped prior to the Rams game.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a snippet where Kyle Pitts said that, they were like, "Oh, you did good last season or whatever," and you're coming into it. And he's like, "No, I'm not." He said, "Because I look back and all I had was one touchdown last year." And he said, "You know how that bad that burned me all off season."
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking like, wow, it's
Yeah.
not again on him, his production. It's not like
Right.
he's dropping the ball. He's
Right.
not getting targets.
In the red zone.
He's not even getting targets, not even throwing the ball towards the man.
And here, William, here's the thing, and fans, I want this team to win because I told you I thought they would win 8 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we're off to a slow start. We should have won the first two. Okay, it's over with, done with. But guess what? Don't I'm criticizing and being critical to show you some things that I'm not. Put it this way, I'm not dogging this team. What I'm doing is telling you things that's stopping this team from being the best that they can be. And that's different. It's not like I'm saying, oh, they trash, they terrible. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just little things that's stopping this team from being the best that they can be. And part of these little things is coaching. And part of these little things is mental errors on the football field.
Yeah.
Just those little things. They're this close. Think of how close they are to winning 2 football games. Now, if you can't, here's the thing. Now, when you're in that situation, you have to say, we're going to win this time. Not,
Mm-hmm.
oh boy. You can't go as a coach, as a player, going, you you cannot show this expression on the sideline when things start to go awry for you.
You think there's a reason why we're not Mariota? They're not scripting plays for him to throw deep, like any deep balls. It seems
Well,
like.
remember this, William. Remember when we was going through the preseason, and I said, I hope this is the offense we see in the regular season. When
Mm-hmm.
they were throwing the ball downfield, throwing it freely, this and that, I said, I hope we're not getting teased and we go back to what we were the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what?
We went
We
back.
went back to what we were the year before. And then you buy into this is what you buy into when announcers and people says, well, they don't have any guys that can take the top off the coverage. That means go deep. Yes, you do. You have Zacchaeus right there. Yes, you do. Every once in a while, you throw a deep ball. If you can, is either his or nobody's. Because guess what that does? It scares the defense. Now they're going to back up a little bit. Now they're going to back up a little bit. Everybody's sitting on every route that we run. Every route. Everybody's sitting on every route that we run.
And it's funny you say that because in the at the Rams game, a fan I know, a Falcon fan, was leaving, and he was like, "Just talk about how we don't have speed at the receiver position. That's this, that, and the third about the speed, but we do have some speed. I just don't think that it's being utilized
Right.
properly.
Exactly.
The play calling is not going there because Zacchaeus has speed, and we
He
seen it.
has speed. Yeah, he has.
He got speed.
He got speed. And then we look at that play, the interception Jalen Ramsey had over Edwards whatsoever. Mariota went to the right spot on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that play again, the reason the ball got high is because he had pressure, and on his release, he had pressure in his face, and he was throwing it going backwards. So the ball went high.
Okay.
He threw it on time, and he wanted to drive it. It was a great play call. I truly believe if he had a chance to step into that ball, I don't know if he would have scored or not, but he would have been inside the 5 yard line because that ball would have been on the line below the waist where he can catch that ball in front of Ramsey, and we would have been talking about a whole different thing. You talk about the interception, but you don't know what happened on the
Mm-hmm.
interception. He had pressure on his face, somebody stepping on his toes.
Yeah.
That pressure has to be better right there in that time whatsoever. But you talking about Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about Aaron Donald. So, and then the sack, whatsoever. Here's a I understand we have a threat at quarterback to run the football, but every week it cannot be that their quarterback runs 8 to 10 times a game.
Yeah.
Can't be that because now what's happening is we're losing yards. This you don't understand. These guys, these coordinators in the NFL are really, really good.
Mhm.
These players in the NFL are really, really good. So they're gonna, if they can stop that one dimension from your offense, that's a win for them.
Yeah.
So we have to do better in scheming against teams. You can't just say, well, we're gonna just do our offense. No, where's the weak spot? Where are they having troubles at? How can we have big plays? Who's their weak corner? What their safety do on this play? Let's take advantage of that. So your game plan, even though it stays the same, there's 6 or 8 plays that's in there that are supposed to be designed specifically for that defense to see if you can get a home run or not.
It's funny because the week before we were talking about Mariota and him being able to throw from the pocket. He
Mhm.
did a lot of bootlegs, a lot of moving out. And it seems like either they heard us or heard the media, but it seems like this week they were almost trying to get Mariota to stay in the pocket rather than roll out and throw. Because when he
Right.
does roll out and throw, he has more accuracy and he
It's
has,
more accurate. Mhm.
but he stayed in and was, the balls wasn't getting where they needed to be, so to speak.
Well, this week wasn't the week for him to be in the pocket against this front.
Exactly. And that was my thing. This
That,
ain't the week for it.
that's not the week for it. This is not the team you want to do it for. You got to move the pocket against
Yeah.
this team. That the we talking about the Rams.
Yes.
Now the
Aaron
Seattle
Donald.
team may be
Yeah.
a little bit different.
Mhm.
You might want to sit in the pocket a little bit better and mix it up a little bit more, which I call half rolls and full rolls and boots. You might want to mix it up a little bit. In the pocket. Basically, when you're in the pocket, you want to throw what we call quick routes.
Mhm.
That's catch the ball, turn, and throw. That means the receivers are not running any routes farther than 10 yards downfield.
Mhm.
So we want to what we call quick game, catch it and get it out quick, catch it and get it out quick. And that's from the pocket. And then there's medium throws that's from 12 yards to maybe 10 yards to about 15 yards where he may have to take 3-step drop after he catches the snap whatsoever. Then you got the bigger routes where he's bigger steps, roll out, play action whatsoever. So there's a progression that you're taught as a quarterback and receivers of what needs to happen protection wise whatsoever this and that. So I'm telling you, man, sheesh, we have too much talent to not get that ball out quick and give it to the receivers and let them run to KS, London, and Pitts and those Edwards and get the ball to them and
Yeah.
get Patterson in the flats real quick, whatsoever, this and that. And I get it that you want to have your own niche in what you do offensively, which is ain't a such thing. Every offense that is run today is from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Every offensive coordinator is using someone else's offense with a little tweak to it. You got to see what everybody is doing, and if it's working, and if you got the talent and the personnel to do it, try it,
Yeah.
and then put your own stuff in it too, because that's the only way we're gonna get better offensively. Now I'm talking defensively. Yeah, we give up some big plays. We really do. And yeah, Terrell is struggling a little bit, but hey, look, dude, he playing against all pro, future Hall of Fame wide receivers every week. He's gonna win some and he's gonna lose some. But for him to win more, we got to get more pressure on the quarterback. And we
Couple
didn't do it.
things.
We didn't do it
Yeah.
this week. We didn't do it this week. But we got to do it this coming game. We didn't do it last week against the Rams, but this week you got a chance to rattle Geno Smith and get some sacks and make him turn the football over. And that's the key to this game right here is turnovers because of the fact that we match up well in every position with these guys. If if we create turnovers and we don't turn the ball over, we win this football game.
What is the point in running these two tight end sets? Got the fullback out there. We're not seeing 3 wide receivers on the field at one time. along with Kyle Pitts. I mean, you got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, CP, Zacchaeus. You got a lot of different weapons that you could possibly spread. Why do you think we're not doing that?
When we were down 28-3, I text you and said, that's a passing set right there. Two tight ends and a fullback. I
Yeah.
said, we're not trying to win this football game at all. Remember I said that?
Yes, I do.
And then what happened? We got the block punt whatsoever, the fumble, and then we started doing some things. We don't spread people out. We keep people in the box too much. We got to when you spread them out for a quarterback, when you spread the offense out, you spread the defense out for a quarterback, it's easier to see where blitz are coming. It's easier to see coverage. It's easier to identify who the Mike linebacker is when you spread them out. But when you bring them in close inside the numbers in
Mhm.
a 15-yard radius, guess what? You have 10 guys on the defense in that same area. So now it's hard to understand where's my holes are going to be in the passing game, or where do I change my protection, or do I change the run from change it and go opposite of where we were going to go. It, for me, maybe I'm just so old school. Maybe for me, it's difficult to read that.
Mhm.
So and I know the Rams do it whatsoever, but they have specific plays they want to do and see out of those formations. I don't think we do. I think we just run plays out of the formation just to see if they're gonna work.
And it's funny you say that is because like I mean, when I say we, like the fans, you're sitting there watching the game, it's third down, like that late game. Lucky they strip cut, but
Hmm.
we know it's going to Cooper Cup.
Right,
The week before, we know it's going to
right,
Michael Thomas. When it's
right,
the Falcons, they don't
right,
know if it's going to Kyle Pitts.
right.
They don't know. They don't
They don't
because
know.
we're not consistent.
We're not consistent. And here's the thing: you got to trust your superstars.
Correct. Got
Gotta,
to.
the superstars. One of the reason they superstars because they make plays when they need to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, you want to give it, and you want to give him an opportunity. You
Exactly.
don't. Here's the thing: it's almost one of those things. Is if you don't give him an opportunity, you're going to be questioned. If you give him an opportunity, at least you can say that, hey, look, we tried our best. He got open sometimes. He dropped some balls. But here's the thing: you don't know until you try.
Exactly.
So I know I'm probably get ridiculed from our Falcons organization. I don't care. But when you make a statement that this is not fantasy football, that we're trying to win football games, I wish it was fantasy football because now you would do the things you need to do to win football games.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
What I'm saying? So you telling me, and I'm digressing all the way back to the beginning of this. I'm sitting at home and I'm reading this as a wide receiver. This similar thing almost happened to me before, and I'm gonna give you the story. Dan Reed's first year, first game, we played the Detroit Lions.
Mhm.
All right, we made some plays whatsoever. So after the game, he makes a statement. He talks about the receiver play. We caught some balls, but they fall down too much. I would like to see more yards after the catch.
Mhm.
He says they gotta do better at that. So I remember it, William. I remember it. So that Wednesday we get back to practice and we get in a team situation. All the players around, coaches around, whatsoever, because it's the whole team situation. So I'm walking from the sideline. I said, "Hey, Coach Reeves," and somebody said, "Coach, Terrence calling you." I said, "If I ever read in a newspaper again that you're unhappy with my play and the receivers' play, I'm gonna blow your car up." And everybody started laughing. And I said, "I'm serious, coach. You got a problem with me, you can always come to me and tell me. You don't have to go to the media."
Yeah.
And everybody was laughing. And you know what he did? He went to me, came up to me secretly and said, "You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize." So think about it. So Kyle Pitts is sitting at home and he just said, "Hey, he's trying to win. He's telling me I don't need to be part of this to win football games. He don't care if he wants to get me the ball or not. So what you telling me, coach, that I'm not important enough to help this team win. That's the conversation I'm having with Coach Smith
No,
on
I
Monday.
agree.
That's that conversation. I'm going into his office and saying, Coach, this is what I took from that. Is this what you meant by it? Could you explain it to me? If you get mad at me for doing that, that means I should not be on your roster.
Mhm.
Because we're supposed to be two grown men trying to help this organization win. So we try to figure out, hey, what's the disconnect? Why this is not happening? I got to have this conversation with the guy who's calling the plays. You think Ragone is calling plays? No, he's not. The head coach calling the plays.
Mhm.
And all Ragone is saying, yeah, I agree with you. That's what's going on. So, hey, you're a professional. Be a professional. Take care of your business. Go to your boss and ask him what's the issue. How can I get more targets? Look, and let him show you where you're not playing well or where coverages is dictating where they go with the football. You have to do that. If you don't do that, you can't be great at your job, and he can't be better at his job.
Yeah, the little tidbit. We were talking about that block punt. That was the rookie Troy Anderson that we drafted.
Yes,
But that was our first block punt since 1990.
I seen that. Isn't that crazy? I think it was for a touchdown. I think it was the first block punt for a touchdown.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was the first block for a touchdown
For a
since
touchdown. Okay.
1990. That's crazy,
Yeah,
right?
first block punt TD. You're right.
Yeah,
First block
that's
punt.
crazy, right? That's crazy. Yeah, man.
Well,
But
what you got for us? We got to
we
wrap
got
this
to
up.
run, huh? Don't don't have much today. I always got to reiterate this about loving people, loving others. But before you can love anyone else, you got to love yourself first.
Okay.
You got to love yourself first. And by loving yourself first, you got to always be positive about yourself. You can't put yourself in detrimental situations that's going to harm you or your family. Um, I can't tell you not to drink. I can't tell you not to smoke. I can't tell you those things. I can't tell you not to do certain things because it's you and your life. But if you love yourself, you'll make sure you take care of the temple that God has given you to take care of, and that's your body and your mind and your spirit. And once you're able to do those things, loving other people is easy.
That's nice. Right on. I will be in Seattle. Hopefully they'll pull it out.
What? You going again?
Yes.
You got some frequent flyer miles, brother.
Yeah, I'll be going again. So Falcons pull it out.
Have you ever been to that city?
I haven't.
It's a beautiful city, man. You're gonna love that city. Oh my God. Make sure you go down to the wharf, to the pier and see them throw the fish and all that stuff. And make
I
sure you
will.
eat some fresh fish. You're gonna go, oh, now this is good fish. You're gonna love that.
Well, Falcons, y'all pull it out, and I'll see y'all there. Have a great week.
Peace.